Guys, this is for my final research paper for transportation planning and policy, PA 590. So basically my paper talked about utilizing a commercial vehicle or truck corridor as a way to deal with congestion and safety issues on our major highways and roadways in general. Essentially, like I said, I just looked at the two issues. I didn't look at any environmental factors. I'm sure if I had the time or the opportunity, I could write a many numbered page paper on this subject because there's so much that can be covered. From the safety and congestion standpoint, in regards to safety, some of the things I looked at was obviously stopping and starting times for these types of vehicles needing more time and space to slow down or to speed up, which does not aid in regards to congestion matters, and also makes it very dangerous because these vehicles are so large. They're more difficult to maneuver, and other considerations that you have to keep in mind are overloaded vehicles, which pose a threat of tipping, other issues such as high winds that can tip a truck, and one other thing that I mentioned was also in regards to hazardous waste or hazardous materials that are being transported, and vehicle accidents that expose those chemicals and toxins into the environment, whether it's abrasive to the infrastructure or the road that's being utilized, or to any individuals that are in the area, the immediate area, when a crash like that occurs. Anything like a gasoline tanker, any type of chemical, natural gas, those types of things, when those types of vehicles, when they're in accidents, that also can kind of create a very large hazard. And finally, I looked at weight distribution in vehicles. So even though a vehicle is not overloaded, one of the other questions that has to be looked at is if the distribution of the weight in the vehicle is done properly, safely, and correctly. That can also lead to tipping hazards. And, obviously, if you think about it, just the sheer size alone of these types of vehicles creates an even bigger hazard for private passenger automobiles and the individuals that drive these vehicles and share the same roadway with these large vehicles. So that was the safety aspect of it. The other aspect that I focused on was congestion. Again, like I said, because these vehicles are so much larger and usually are weighed down even more with more weight due to the load that they're carrying, it's harder for these vehicles to stop. It takes more time, and it takes more time for these vehicles to speed up. So in a situation where that occurs, you're adding minutes onto your commute, onto passenger vehicles' commutes, just because of those reasons. So I looked at that as something that was also a concern. Obviously, accidents with these types of vehicles takes more time to clean up. They're larger vehicles. They might occupy more lanes in the event that there is an accident or a tip over. Those types of things. And it's just, like I said before, in regards to the safety issue, it's just more dangerous. So I came up with an idea. Well, I didn't come up with an idea. I came up with a thought about a dedicated roadway specifically for commercial vehicles. A roadway that is only for them, and the type of infrastructure and budgetary restraints that we might run into for this type of endeavor. I looked at three main ideas. The first being a very minimal change type of idea, and my thoughts on that were utilizing current toll lanes and HOV lanes as possibly truck corridors or truck lanes, and using those to separate trucks from private passenger vehicle traffic rather than trying to build a new infrastructure. I feel like that would be the most effective cost-wise. The second middle of the road kind of idea that I had was something like just adding truck lanes for interchanges and junctions where traffic tends to be congested anyway and is going to cause a buildup. Maybe alleviating it a little bit by removing these large vehicles and diverting them around the congestion, and hopefully helping private passenger vehicles through that. And then finally, the third thing that I looked into was just a full infrastructure build, utilizing current corridors to build next to or near, to create a whole new roadway for these types of vehicles. And that might be something that needs to be looked into just for the type of road wear from these large vehicles occupying these types of facilities. So that would have to be something that would be considered as well. As far as budgetary constraints, obviously there's 3 different levels, minimum up to maximum as far as what we can spend. The idea for a completely new infrastructure is a little bit extreme, but I think over time it's something that will alleviate congestion and safety issues on California freeways. I think that it is ultimately needed as goods movement increases in the area, especially San Bernardino, Riverside County areas. It's just something that needs to be done. It's going to take a long time and it's going to use a lot of resources, but it would be something that would be very ideal and would help out the situation. So that is what my final research paper is on. Thank you for your time.